65,000 once again on hand at Pro Players Stadium in Miami for Game 4 of this National League Championship Series, where in 11 innings last night, the Cubs came away with a 1-run win and lead this best-of-7 series 2-1 over the Florida Marlins. Hi again, everybody. I'm Thom Brennaman, welcoming you to playoff baseball here on Fox. When this series began, we've talked a great deal, and we knew a great deal about the outstanding pitching of the Chicago Cubs. Steve Lyons, what we did not talk about and what we did not know is that they would swing the bats the way they have swung the bats in the first 3 games of this series. They've scored 25 runs so far.
Yeah, I think someone forgot to tell the Chicago Cubs that they're not the 1927 Yankees, but that's the way they're swinging the bat. They're getting it done up and down the lineup, hitting 320 for the series. They were about a 260 hitting team during the regular season, averaging 8 runs a game. Kenny Lofton setting the table up top. Guys through the middle of the order hitting the ball out of the park. They have 8 home runs in the series, and guys coming off the bench to do a great job and coming up with some big hits. Someone on that Florida Marlins staff needs to find a way to stop the bleeding.
Well, Mark Redmond did a pretty solid game as a Marlins starter here last night, and now Leiter, now they're turning to the 21-year-old rookie sensation whom they got in a trade from the Cubs for Matt Clement and Antonio Alfonseca in Dontrelle Willis.
And I love Dontrelle Willis. This guy's got character, he's got charisma. He's brought primetime back to South Florida. He's got a nickname, the D-Train. This guy not only's got character and charisma, he's got a great arm and great stuff. I watched one of the most dominant games this year in June when he threw a one-hit shutout against the Mets. I am a little concerned. Unlike Redmond, he's a fastball pitcher. The Chicago lineup is a fastball hitting team. Could be a problem.
So he can't fall behind.
Don't fall behind.
All right, we'll see how it goes early on. The Cubs have scored in the first inning in each of the first 3 games of this series. Dontrelle Willis against Matt Clement. The first pitch from South Florida coming up next on Fox. Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Sprint, proudly offering picture mail and PCS Vision picture phones. By America Online. Look for 9.0 Optimize coming this fall. By Pocrit, EPO Eaton Alpha for injection. And by MasterCard. There's some things money can't buy. For everything else, there's MasterCard. Another beautiful night, another huge gathering at Pro Players Stadium in Miami. 65,115 here last night. Watch Dusty Baker's Chicago Cubs come away in 11 innings with a 5-4 win. Here's Dusty's lineup tonight, brought to you by State Farm. Kenny Lofton in center field has had a marvelous series at the top of the batting order. Mark Resnick at second, Sammy in right. Moises Alou in left, Aramis Ramirez at third, Eric Karros again at first. A latter third of Alex Gonzalez, Damian Miller, and 14-game winner Matt Clement against the Marlins 14-game winner, rookie left-hander Dontrelle Willis.
A lot of 14-game winners in this series, aren't there? This guy has to get ahead. He doesn't have to do it with his fastball, though. He has 3 pitches that he can throw for a strike. He's got that great changeup and a lot of poise under pressure. At least that's what the Marlins are looking for him today.
Ball 1 down low to Kenny Lofton. 8 hits and 15 at-bats in this series. Dontrelle immediately falling behind, 2 balls and no strikes.
Against left-handed pitching, Kenny Lofton usually just tries to slap the ball to the left side, and he's had a lot of success doing that in this series.
2-1. The Cubs scored 4 runs in the first inning of Game 1. They scored 2 runs in the first inning of Game 2, and they scored a run in the opening inning here last night. Slapped out of play, 2-2 to Lofton. Our broadcast is always available in Spanish by utilizing the SAP button on your television.
As a hitter, Al, one of the reasons why you want to see Dontrelle Willis throw a lot of pitches is the fact that he's got that funky windup. It's hard for the hitter to pick up the ball. If he throws a lot of pitches, the more chance I have as a hitter to see that windup.
And he has walked Lofton to begin the ball game. Just a beautiful afternoon here in South Florida. Very warm at 82 degrees. The humidity up there at 72%, but a pleasant night.
Most stolen bases in the postseason history. Kenny Lofton second with 31. Shouldn't have to tell you who's number one. Ricky. Do we have to say his last name?
No reason. Ball 1 up and away. Resnick in a series, 4 hits and 14 at bats with a couple of runs batted in. Now remember, after Lofton had the infield hit to reach last night to start the game, Dusty Baker had Mark Resnick move him along with a bunt.
Willis does not have a good pickoff move, combined with the high leg kick. Of course, the equalizer sits behind home plate. Pudge Rodriguez.
Here's all the legs and arm movement and everything else. Talking to the hitters in the National League, they say you can't look at all that. You have to pick a spot where his release point is and don't focus on all that other stuff. Very Valenzuela-esque.
Yeah, good luck. Throws a lot of knees and elbows at you.
Fastball called strike on the outside corner, and Dontrelle ahead of Resnick. 1-2.
One of the things that does for you, and that was kind of that pitch previous to this last one was kind of his version of a slide step, but all that movement makes it difficult to read his move when you're trying to steal a base. Only 6 people tried all year.
And only 3 made it.
And Pudge Rodriguez is behind the dish.
Yeah.
I think that has more to do with it. He's about a 1.55 release point from the time the ball leaves his hand to home plate, which is below average. A good time is about 1.2, 1.3 with a catcher like Pudge, who's probably about a 1.75. What that all means is you add up those numbers and a good base runner, which is a green runner, which is Lofton, the only green runner in this lineup. It's pretty much a station-to-station, base-to-base lineup. This is the only guy in the lineup that has a chance of stealing on Pudge.
Resnick going on strikes. 1 away.
And of course, what you mean by a green runner is that guy has the green light, and there's the D train.
Blew him away. Fastball right down the middle. 2-2. Early in the game, talking to McKeon before, and he was saying that when Dontrelle seems to get in trouble, and it happens with a lot of pitchers when we're not getting people out, you lose a little confidence. And when you lose a little confidence, you think everybody can hit a fastball, so you start nibbling and changing speeds and throwing off-speed and fastball counts. Early in the game, he's saying, here, hit it.
Now Clement. Fastball high and away. Sosa 5 hits and 13 at-bats in this league championship series. 2 of the 5 hits home runs with 5 runs batted in.
Al, would you be a little surprised if he says to Sammy, here, hit it?
Down the middle, I would. Just stay away there. Like we were talking in the series, and I guess advanced scouting for the Marlins, they want to see Sammy hit fastballs, and fastballs on the corner are hard to hit for anybody, including a Sammy Sosa.
2-0. Under the knees, Willis wanted the call, didn't get it from home plate umpire Mike Everett. 3-0. Sosa going back to 98, played in 3 postseason games, and then his first 5 games this year without a home run. But in the LCS, red hot. Sosa here last night had 3 hits, was on base 4 times, and he's drawn a walk. Second of the inning issued by Dontrelle Willis. We told you Willis, a 21-year-old Oakland, California native, was drafted by the Chicago Cubs in the 8th round of the 2000 draft. And then last season, the trade was made, sending Willis along with Julian Tavares, Jose Cueto, and Ryan Jorgensen in exchange for Antonio Alfonseca and the man who opposes Dontrelle Willis on the mound tonight, right-hander Matt Clement.
This is a guy that, even though Moises Alou has hit 382 in the postseason here, they have pitched him very, very well. When he's looking in, they pitched him away. When he's been looking away, they pitched him in. Unfortunately for a guy like Moises and how quick he is, You can't pitch him in all day long and think you can get away with it. Look at the swap between the Cubs and the Florida Marlins and what they've done.
And of course those numbers for Willis all this season at the major league level. Clement just 2 games over 500 as a Cub. Alfonseca was the closer and lost his job.
In this situation, I would not think it would be a good idea to challenge Moises Alou on the inner half.
Willis missing and missing badly here in the opening inning. He's fallen behind yet another Cub hitter, 2-0. Wayne Rosenthal, the pitching coach, will come out.
Rosenthal's in his face a little bit too. I love that. Al, what's he saying?
He's saying slow down, let's stay aggressive. Of course, use your fastball because everything's going to work off of his fastball. So he's trying to pep him up, but he doesn't need any pepping up. If anything, he needs to slow down a little bit. He has thrown every single pitch has been a fastball. We're up to 17 pitches. Very similar to what Beckett did in game 1. Have to use all your pitches. If nothing else, even if you throw it in the dirt, you throw a curveball in the dirt or a changeup, you squirt it out and it's high, it's okay. It gets you back to feeling better about throwing a fastball. 17 fastballs in a row to a fastball hitting team. Not good.
Yeah, Dontrelle Willis doesn't need to drink a cup of coffee before the game.
3-0.
Yeah, you say right here, is he getting wild? Is he erratic? No, you continue to have to throw the same pitch. Before you release, you think something bad's going to happen. So as a result, you're going to try to really hit that spot because you know Moises Alou's looking for a fastball.
2 on, 1 out. And Dontrelle Willis here in the opening inning has walked the bases loaded.
This has nothing to do with his delivery or his mechanics or he's wild. It's the matter between his ears. Feeling good about what he's doing. Pudge ought to throw down a couple curveballs right here. I don't care if it's a second or third pitch and he's walked a few guys on fastballs. He's going to need his breaking ball. Throw it.
Well, that old saying in baseball, no brain, no headache. Sometimes the more you think, the more you get yourself in trouble.
First pitch, breaking ball that drops in there, a strike.
Get him in a positive count. He can feel good, expand a little bit. You got an aggressive hitter up here.
Swing and a miss. And Ramirez threw a fastball up, and Ramirez chased it.
And right by him.
Because he saw a 76-mile-an-hour fastball prior to that. The speed differentiation was 12, 14 miles an hour.
Popped up. And foul ground. Lowell getting a start tonight. Leans over, and it's out of play.
You know, you look at the motion of Dontrelle Willis, and you think he's joking. Well, that's how he came up with it. He was playing a game of strikeout with a couple of his buddies when he was a kid. Everybody knows what strikeout is if you ever played the game of baseball. Tennis ball, a bat, 2 guys on a wall. Throw the ball as hard as you can at your buddy and see if you can strike him out. They were getting so good at hitting each other, he said, I have to come up with something different. Watch this. He said it really helped him hide the ball. His buddy couldn't hit it. And he figured, well, I might be able to get away with that for the rest of my life. And that's how his windup was born.
And already activity in the Marlin bullpen. Rick Helling starting to throw. Willis has walked the bases loaded here in the opening inning. 1 out.
That's a good story because any pitching coach who would get this kid young wouldn't teach him that delivery.
Yeah, and some of them would try to change it. Into that whole herky-jerky Vida bluish move, you can almost see him laughing. Hey, Ross was his buddy's name. I'm going to get you out this way. Check this out. You'll never be able to hit this.
In the air, hit well down the left field line. Conine at the wall, and that is a grand slam for Aramis Ramirez.
$65,000 fans down here. Can you hear the Cub fans. As a fastball, inner half, Ramirez knows if it stays fair, it's gone. Just trying to make sure that stays inside the foul pole. Everybody on the Cubs' bases right there. Very happy to see that thing stay fair.
The fourth consecutive game in this series, the Cubs have scored in the first inning. And Willis put himself in a huge jam by walking 3 of the first 4 batters before the long one off the bat of Ramirez, his second home run in this series.
He is not going to be able to keep throwing that fastball on the inner half of the plate. He's got to miss off the plate inside and then go slow away.
Dontrelle Willis, his first 17 big league starts, staggering numbers. He slumped through July and then into August, almost through the entire month of August, before really regrouping down the stretch when the Marlins needed him most. But those last 12 games, the numbers don't lie. Fly ball into short right field should be the second out, and it is.
Al, I love a guy that works fast, and everybody defensively loves to work behind a guy that works fast, but Willis is like in fast forward here. Gets the ball and throws it, gets the ball and throws it. He's got to be gassed right now.
Some of the scout reports on him is that they tell opposing lineups to say he works fast, slow him down, step out a lot to disrupt his timing. But in this case, like you're saying, Psycho, when things are going poorly, this is a time to step off, walk back, and collect your thoughts.
And the Cub hitters want no part of stepping out. They're saying, you go ahead, throw it as many times as you like. We're liking the results of it right now.
The last grand slam we had in National League Championship Series play was 5 years ago today by the big cat Andres Galarraga with the Atlanta Braves. Pulled foul.
You know, just like when I answer the trivia questions that we have here, I know that you didn't know that. I know that as the stat master, Daddy Wags, giving you that.
You better believe it, pal. You better believe it.
Mark Wagner up here,
handling the stats,
the information
all season long and the postseason. Aramis Ramirez providing further shock to this Cub offense. Ramirez came over along with Kenny Lofton from the Pittsburgh Pirates on the 22nd of July, and the Cubs really took off thereafter. Strike 3 called to Gonzalez, and that'll end the inning. But the Cubs jump in front for the 4th straight game. 3 walks and a grand slam by Ramirez. Thomas Ramirez, the first grand slam in National League Championship Series play since 1998. He's given the Cubs a 4-0 lead. Now Jack McKeon's Marlins, they've come from behind in all 4 of their postseason wins this year. They're at it again. Their lineup brought to you by State Farm. Juan Pierre in center, Luis Castillo at second, Pudge Rodriguez behind the plate. Derek Lee at first, Miguel Cabrera in right field, his first start ever in right. Mike Lowell in the lineup for the first time in this series at third. A ladder third at Jeff Conine, Alex Gonzalez, and Dontrelle Willis against 14-game winner and former Marlin Matt Clement.
Now you see the numbers for Matt Clement. Scouting report for him. Everything moves on this guy. Tough to keep it in the strike zone. Fastball is going to set up everything else he throws. He must throw strikes. This guy has problems when he can't keep the ball in the strike zone.
Pierre 3 of 15 during the league championship series. Clement, 29 years old, born and raised, still makes his home in Butler, Pennsylvania. Bounce to the right side, base hit for Juan Pierre.
Florida Marlins just don't seem comfortable unless they're losing. They come from behind in every win they've had. And they're trying to do it again right now. Clement does a pretty good job of holding runners. Only 6 guys have stolen against him in 11 attempts during the regular season. Pierre doesn't care.
Pierre running on the first pitch. Damian Miller's throw right on the money.
Yeah, we talk a lot about Pudge behind the dish, but this kid can throw the ball too. Great footwork. That's a good jump. Clement quick to the plate, but look at the throw by Miller. Catch it, drop the tag on the runner. See you later. Beautiful work right there by our camera crew. 65 stolen bases on the regular season. Not on that one.
He's now 1 out of 3 in stolen base attempts in this series is Juan Pierre. Now Luis Castillo, a ball and a strike, 3 of 12 in this league championship series for Castillo, who hit .314 during the regular year. Into right field, Sosa's there, quickly 2 away.
Psycho mentioned about not many people steal off him. Watch his leg kick. This is basically a slide step. His time to home plate is 1.13 on average. That's quick. Even a green runner runs about 3.5, 3.6 with a good throw. Most of the time they're going to be out. Dusty talking about how there's a lot of plays when you throw over. Step off, throw over, slide step, hold. These are moves that a pitcher can do to keep the runner close. Larry Rothschild doesn't like the slide step because it affects the pitcher's mechanics. Clement doesn't need a slide step. 1.13 is a slide step. Very difficult to steal off a guy with a 1.13.
Low and away to Pudge Rodriguez. Ball 1. Pudge 4 of 13 in the series with a home run and 6 runs batted in. He has had a spectacular postseason through the division series and now the LCS. Rodriguez 10 hits and 30 at bats with 12 runs batted in.
Clement had his problems on the road during the regular season, was much better at home. 4-7 on the road in 15 starts with an ERA of over 5.4. So for Marlin fans out there, this game could be far from over with.
Pudge thought it was ball 4. Instead it's strike 1, says Mike Everett.
Ball's right down the middle. That tail, he's sitting up on the outer part of the plate. All right, I'll give you inner half, Pudge.
No matter what, it was a strike. Hitters. Okay.
Lined into right field. Sosa's right there, and that's out of the Marlin opening inning. We go to the second. Florida in front. Trailing 4-0. Bat top half of the third inning with a 4-0 lead over Dontrelle Willis and the Florida Marlins. Willis has only allowed 1 hit. Fly ball into right field, and Cabrera is there, 1 away. High above us tonight, aerial coverage of tonight's game and the surrounding Miami area provided by the Saturn Light Ship. Saturn and its retailers hope you're enjoying this National League Championship Series. And outside of that Game 2 blowout, I'm not sure you could ask for any more. We went 11 innings in Game 1 with the Cubs falling to the Marlins 9-8. 11 innings here last night. Cubs 5, Florida 4. Strike 1 to Sammy Sosa. We saw Cabrera make that play a moment ago out in right field. Tonight is his first start ever in right field. Minor league level, major league level. They put him out there for the final 3 innings of last night's game. Well, that's how much the 72-year-old manager of the Marlins, Jack McKeon, trusts this 20-year-old rookie.
And they're looking for more offense in the lineup. Get Lowell back in there. Third base, put Cabrera in right. Encarnacion has not been swinging the bat quite as well in this postseason as he did during the regular season. Conine feels more comfortable in left field than he does in right field. That's where Cabrera had played a lot before Clement came back to this club.
Breaking ball down and away. Sammy didn't chase it. 3-2. Fastball in, and Sosa has walked for the second time tonight.
Here's the pitch sequence to Sosa. He comes right at him with a fastball in. Sammy just eyeing him up, seeing the velocity. Curveball in the dirt. He's still trying to come in. Blew it by him. Elevated the height of it. Got it by him. Tried to go away. He babied the curveball instead of throwing it and finishing it. And then tried to come back inside again. Just missed.
Once again, it really looks like they're picking at it with the breaking pitches and trying to get Sammy out with fastballs. Didn't really try to throw any of those breaking pitches for strikes.
Ground ball finds a hole into left field off the bat of Moises Alou. And here come the Cubs again. A one-out walk to Sosa. Goes to second on a single by Moises Alou. 3 walks in the first inning, setting the table for Aramis Ramirez in that opening inning. You weren't with us 5 years ago today. Andres Galarraga, then of the Atlanta Braves, hit the last National League Championship Series grand slam until this.
Aramis Ramirez, this is at least the 3rd replay of that grand slam. He hopes we get to see it again and again and again.
For those that have been around the game of baseball for a long time, I think it's still puzzling to think that 2 teams in the same division make 2 major trades with one another during a regular season, which is exactly what took place between the Cubs and the Pittsburgh Pirates. The first trade, of course, brought Lofton and Aramis Ramirez from Pittsburgh to Chicago. They later went out and got Ramirez. And do you think those have been Pirate treasures? You tell me.
That's amazing to see 1/3 of one club on a team that's in the playoffs. And yet when they were on that other team, they were nowhere near a playoff club when they all played for Pittsburgh. Little pieces of a puzzle coming to another club that really fit in well.
Where Simon came over after the deal for Ramirez and Lofton. Fouled out of play. 2-2.
Dontrelle realizing he can't get any further down 4-0. He's introducing his curveball much more. He threw 2 to Sammy, even though he walked him. He got behind a Ramirez, threw a curveball for a strike, another curveball. Ramirez is late on that fastball as a result of those 2 curveballs being around 76 miles an hour. He's pitching. He needs to do this.
Came back with a fastball down and in that Ramirez made contact with and fouled it off.
Pitcher's job is to obviously be able to locate, have movement and velocity. But your job is to try to offset the timing of the hitter. We see this series. You throw 100 miles an hour, they'll turn on it.
Came back with a breaking ball there, and Ramirez way out in front of him.
So he was sped up twice. He threw 2 curveballs, then he was behind on the 1 fastball. He threw another fastball, fouled it off. Now he's out in front of the curveball as a result of seeing 90-91 fastball. That's offsetting the timing of the hitter. This is good sequence. He needs to do this.
The way the sequence is gone, then what do you do here? Another 2-2 pitch.
I'm throwing a curveball in the dirt. You have a free swinging hitter in Ramirez. You have another pitch to expand. You don't have to throw it in the zone. Fastball away. Fine. It was executed. It was a good pitch as far as location. When pitchers become predictable, hitters can sit on a pitch or an area. And up to this point, the Cubs hitters were just sitting on fastball.
Came with a breaking ball, and it's fouled out of play. But again, Ramirez way out in front.
First changeup, perfect. He threw a changeup.
This is a guy that during the regular season threw a lot of changeups.
This will be the 9th pitch in this at bat. And it's a fastball high. Dontrelle's first encounter with Ramirez, which, of course, the result was a grand slam. It was an 8-pitch at bat. So already 17 Dontrelle Willis pitches seen by Ramirez. Another foul on a 3-2 off-speed pitch.
Well, we haven't had a chance to see a lot of Dontrelle Willis during the regular season, but out of his stretch, and it's hard to determine what he does as compared to a lot of other pitchers because he's so much different with that quirky windup. But he comes set in his stretch, Al, and then he's very quick with his next movement to the plate, and that seems like he could really throw himself off.
Ground ball right side into right field, a base hit. They're going to wave around the runner. Here comes a throw to the plate. It is not in time. Gets away from Rodriguez. And on to second base with an RBI single goes Ramirez. He's knocked in all 5 Chicago runs tonight.
Pudge got blocked out on the runner, Sosa. Just as Sosa was crossing the plate, he got blocked out. He didn't see the ball.
Doing a good job after all those pitches, just taking the ball the other way, not trying to do too much with it. The very fast infield, the turf here, it's almost like playing on artificial surface. Here comes the throw. Where's Dontrelle Willis? He's over here, not backing up the play. Willis trying to get there, but now the throw's coming from the other side of the field, so he should be going where he's going now. Realize he made a mistake. Now he goes to get the ball, lets Pudge go back to home. But that allows Ramirez to get to second base on the overthrow to home plate.
Jack McKeon out there having a lengthy chat with Dontrelle Willis. Jack told us, if you see me come out, and he's the only starting pitcher I've had to come out and visit on the mound this year without taking him out of a game. He said it's generally because I don't understand why he's nibbling around, and to get out there and start throwing more fastballs, McKeon going to stay with Dontrelle Willis.
This may be the opposite today, Tommy, because we've shown today that he's thrown a lot of fastballs. This reminds me very much so of the Josh Beckett start. Got in trouble, throwing a lot of fastballs, and what did he do? Tried to throw the ball harder instead of taking some off and mix in your breaking ball. We saw him do that in the second inning, but early on he got in trouble throwing too many fastballs, and in this inning, maybe the same thing.
He gave up a hit there to Ramirez, but I think it was a good at-bat for Willis. Even though the end result wasn't good, he pitched him well.
Strike called on the outside corner. Dontrelle has walked 4 batters in the game. All 4 have scored. Infield in for the Marlins. Eric Karros flying out to right his first time up. Fouled out of play, 0-2.
If you're the Marlins, you certainly hope that Dontrelle Willis can turn it around much the same way that Josh Beckett did. Made some adjustments. Started hitting corners and using all of his pitches.
In the air down the left field line, and it's out of play.
A great story Willis has been all season long with the way he burst onto the scene. Raised by his mother, an iron worker. Welder. There she is, Joyce Harris. Dontrelle never met his father until this season. Met him in Denver before a series that they played there. His father didn't know that he was a pro baseball player, didn't know he was going to be an all-star that season. Said the meeting went well.
1-2 pitch. Fastball in. And how about the influence his mother had in the life of Dontrelle Willis growing up in the tough streets of Oakland, California? She made sure he was on the straight and narrow every second of every day. And if there was even a hint that he was going in the other direction, she would come down on him hard. Check swing, did he go? No.
She's got a welder in her hand. I'd listen to her too.
She worked on the Bay Bridge, worked on the Golden Gate Bridge. That's hard work, dangerous work.
Talks a lot about his mother and what she went through, and he said if she could do what she did, no reason why I can't be doing what I'm doing here.
And he is walked his 5th batter of the game. And that's going to do it for Dontrelle Willis. His first postseason start. He lasted 5 innings, allowed 5 hits and 5 runs. Here tonight, 2+ and leaves trailing 5-0. Willis's teammates coming over to console him. He is such an enormously popular player, obviously with the fans, but very much so inside that clubhouse. Rick Kelling will take over on the mound. We saw him in Game 2 in relief. Went 3 innings, allowed 4 runs, gave up 2 home runs to Alex Gonzalez, and the first pitch to Alex Gonzalez in this at-bat, a run-scoring single into left field. They're still loaded with 1 out, and it is 6-0 Chicago.
It's amazing. It's hard not to like the attitude that Willis has. You know, he's just dying inside right now. Wanted to have a great performance in front of the home fans in a game that was almost as important to this Marlins team as last night's game was to the Cubs. Still had the great attitude when McKeon came out to get him. Ran off the field with his head up. Has kept his head up in the dugout ever since. Tremendous attitude on the kid.
Damian Miller grounded out to the third baseman Mike Lowell his first time up. Dontrelle's mother leaving her seat temporarily, but I'm sure like her son she'll be back rooting on the Florida Marlins. We're only in the 3rd inning. 1-2 to Miller. Kelling, a former 20-game winner with the Texas Rangers, has had a great deal of postseason experience. The last couple of years has bounced around from Arizona last year, Baltimore earlier this year. He was in the Orioles rotation and came here and pitched out of the Marlin bullpen and did a good job. Still 1-2 to Damian Miller.
You hate to knock a guy as into his team and a teammate at such a young age, but you know, in moments like this, they're down by a game and you expect so much from a young kid.
Strike 3 to Damian Miller, 2 away in the inning.
To mentally get it, and this is a mental grind much more than a physical grind, and if he is the teammate that everyone says he is, and I know he is, it hurts inside of him. And when your mind gets out of the box, which is all about just making pitches, and he's enthusiastic and the bench and a good clubhouse guy, your focus is a little off, and all it takes is to miss a few pitches to get behind, and you're behind, and then it just snowballs.
0-1 of the pitcher, Matt Clement, the 8th man to bat in the inning.
You know, you look at guys that really come up in big games and they're real quiet and they're ornery and they're in the clubhouse and don't talk to them, don't look at them, they hide, and it's all about getting the mind focused to hitting that glove, and that's all that matters.
Are you saying that the mental makeup of a guy like that may help you out a little bit in big game situations, and being an outgoing type of personality like Willis is?
I'm saying you could turn it on and off. You could be the most fun-loving, biggest comedian, greatest guy in the world, but when it's click game time, in a moment like this, it's all about the mind understanding that the only thing matters is that glove in that area where he has to throw the ball through the zone.
He'll learn.
Absolutely. This is the learning process.
Bases loaded, 2 away, and now 2 balls and 2 strikes on Matt Clement. We talked a great deal in this series about, you know, Curt Schilling and Randy Johnson. You pitched with Kevin Brown and played with Kevin. I mean, those guys, you don't get within 100 feet of them on game day.
Dave Stewart.
Sometimes the game before and the game after, too.
It all depends on the mood. Ground ball to the right side, that'll end the inning. Heck, Leiter hadn't pitched for a week. He was hard to be around a day or 2. Middle of the 3rd, 6-0 Cubs. Cubs have knocked out Dontrelle Willis. He allows 6 runs. This took place in between innings with his catcher, Ivan Rodriguez.
Pudge is obviously saying a lot of positive things, nothing negative about what he did tonight or what he means to this team. It also means what Dontrelle means to the whole team. You don't want this kid's psyche to be ruined, especially if it's his last start of the year.
Which, barring coming back on 3 days rest in a 7th game, it would be his last start of this year if the Marlins fall in this series. They trail 2-1. They trail here in game 4, 6-0. Alex Gonzalez, Rick Helen, and Juan Pierre in the Marlin third. Gonzalez 2 of 10 in the series with a run batted in. Both of his hits came in the game here last night. We talked about Clement and the inconsistency he has had in his career, and certainly the numbers don't lie this year. The ball pulled foul. Consider this. In Clement's 14 wins this year, his earned run average was 1.60. In his 12 losses, his earned run average was 9.10.
Could be a little deceiving. He might have had 4 or 5 or 3 games where it was a 35.
2-2. Struck him out. Like to remind you, tomorrow baseball's postseason continues at 4 o'clock Eastern, 1 o'clock Pacific, right here on Fox. Game 5 of this National League Championship Series between the Cubs and the Marlins. Then at 7:30 Eastern, 4:30 Pacific, Game 4 of the American League Championship Series, the Yankees and Red Sox in Boston. Sports' biggest month of the year continues tomorrow, only on Fox. A number of very ugly incidents of that game today at Fenway Park in Boston. Both from the players, the coaches, and the fans.
Now here's one of the reasons why Gonzalez has not hit very well during this series. You talk about balance. You see him lunging way out in front of pitches. As Bill Robinson has said, that he's had trouble staying back on pitches. That slider down and away is a pitch that's very easy to lunge out after. That's what the guy's trying to get you to do. And when you're going to do it all the time, it just makes it easier for the pitcher to get you out.
Rick Helling, a ground ball at Alex Gonzalez, 2 away.
There is Robinson.
He had a solid big league career, part of the We Are Family, world champion Pittsburgh Pirate Club in 1979, led by the Hall of Famer Willie Stargell. Two down for Juan Pierre, who has the only Florida hit against Matt Clement. That led off the ball game. And on the very next pitch, Pierre tried to steal second base and was thrown out by the combination of Clement and Damian Miller.
Some people might say that, boy, you guys were down 4-0 already. What are you doing being that aggressive on the bases? This is a guy that stole 65 bases during the season. He's running. Might be a little less aggressive now. I mean, you're not going to get back in this game unless you play aggressively. You cannot play timid baseball in this game and get back in it.
High hopper. Ramirez has to battle the lights and has enough arm to throw out Pierre, and that'll end the inning. 1, 2, 3, 4 Clement. We go to the 4th. 6-0. Sammy and the Cubs in front.
Do you have the right truck?
Well, I don't know if Al Leiter or Steve Lyons has the bunny inside, but there is very little doubt that fellow right there does. Come on now. He was all lit up in between innings. 1-1 to Kenny Lofton. Now, Steve, you think they're going to run him out of here for that outfit? They let him in here.
They should run him out of here for that outfit. Talk about a fashion faux pas, even down in South Beach, which is hard to do.
Well, he would be big in South Beach.
Neon man. I think his face is sunburned.
2-2 to Lofton.
That guy does give you a whole different perspective on being lit.
Kenny Lofton's first job worked at a dog kennel. Good for him. Helping out dogs that were looking for a home. Check swing and a foul ball out of play. Kenny Lofton grew up just outside of Chicago, so coming to the Cubs, a homecoming for him after spending time the year before with the White Sox before the trade to the Giants. 3-2 to Lofton. A heavily recruited basketball star, Kenny Lofton, played under Lute Olson at the University of Arizona. Kenny Lofton played less than a handful of games of college baseball while at the University of Arizona. I mean, it wasn't one of those things where, you know, is it baseball, is it basketball? Lofton was a basketball star.
Had a tremendous program.
Absolutely, one of the best in all of college basketball. But then they had an opportunity for him to come out and play his final year. Was only out there a handful of games, and the Houston Astros took a flyer on him by drafting. And there's ball 4. While we have a moment, let's check in with Jeannie Zalasko in Los Angeles.
Hello. As if New Yorkers and New Englanders needed another reason to boil over, they'll meet on the gridiron tomorrow as well, a place where physical contact is invited. Yikes. Other big games, LeVar Arrington and Warren Sapp going at it. Bucks and Redskins gathering for those of you in Chicago, Bears and Saints. Fox NFL Sunday begins with America's #1 pregame show, noon Eastern, 9 Pacific.
Well, I think we may have to get some picks of some of those games a little bit later on tonight from none other than Steve Psycho Lyons, who so far this year is undefeated with his NFL picks. Ball 1 to Mark Resolani. Of course, Steve has only picked 2 games, but he's 2-0.
I'll pick them all this time.
If you're a Marlins fan right now watching this, it's very important that Helling does his job. What I mean is that the bullpens in this Friday, Saturday, Sunday were going to be taxed. And last night, Fox threw 30, Urbina 31 pitches, Tejera 6, and Looper 11. Those are your go-to guys. The series isn't over. You need for Helling to get deep in the game, maybe finish the game. And to me, if he's able to do that, that's a big, big plus. This is a start for Rick Helling. It'll save on Fox, Urbina, and Tejera and Looper. Before the game, Dusty was talking about the bullpen. He said, well, maybe the backside is the front side and the front side is the backside. Games are won and lost by the bullpen. And even though this is lopsided, Helling's got to go deep. Maybe finish it.
And, of course, there's still more than enough time for the Marlins to get back in this game.
Exactly. Under the assumption that it stays this way.
Absolutely.
It's not totally lost if Helling were to finish.
And that's why 2 pitches ago we saw Pudge Rodriguez call a pitch out. Kenny Lofton, maybe during the regular season, might not run in this situation. 6 runs up in the 4th. But this is a playoffs, and it is only the 4th. Kenny Lofton, if he gets a pitch to run on, will steal a base.
Check swing and a miss. Resolani didn't realize the ball got away from Rodriguez. He's gone on strikes. Lofton will take second base. Second strikeout for Helling.
Big slider away. Rodriguez, a little bit of a late reaction to that because he kind of hooked that slider. Long reach for Pudge to get all the way over there. Lofton easily rambles into second.
Now Sammy Sosa. A pair of walks, a pair of runs for Sosa. Good overhand breaking ball there by Helling. And that certainly is an advantage for Helling, having been a starter his entire career, including this year with Baltimore. So, you know, stamina will not be a problem for Rick Helling. He is one big, strong guy.
If I'm Rick Helling, I'm taking this entire appearance. Hopefully McKeon can keep me in. This is my start. I'm thinking it as a start. The scoreboard is irrelevant. I'm making pitches, and I will continue to pitch. I don't care, 2-1 count. I'm down by 6. If I have to throw a changeup to get him out, I'm throwing the changeup. This isn't batting practice.
Two.
Thing about that too, when you look at the way the Marlins have pitched, and they have not pitched well. You look at the outing that Redmond had yesterday, was outstanding. Brad Penny had a rough outing. Josh Beckett had a rough start. Dontrelle Willis had a bad outing. Helling, if they get past this round into the World Series, maybe looking at a start in the World Series.
Sosa gone on strikes, 2 away in the inning. Let's revisit this at bat. Helling against Sosa.
Pitch by pitch, big curveball, freezes Sammy on the first one, throws it farther away on the slider. Try to go fastball away, and then Sammy just with an excuse me swing right there on a real tight slider, breaking away from Sosa.
You hear a lot about a cutter today. That's more of a cutter than a slider. It's the speed difference is maybe a mile or 2, and it looks just like a fastball. That's why you got an emergency hack on Sosa there.
Same pitch again right there to Alou. Fouled away. Well, that has been your bread and butter pitch, Leiter, throughout your outstanding career, that cutter.
It evolved from a slider. I learned my slider from Dave Righetti, who learned it from Ron Guidry, and I just got a little deeper on the ball, and I've fuddled with the grip, and then it just developed into a cut fastball.
Fouled back out of play.
The grip doesn't matter. It's really you want the pressure to be on the outside of the ball for the ball to fall through and go through the zone like this. I basically go off center of the ball, and there's more exposure on this side, and I throw it like a fastball. And so long as my hand is behind the ball and I think fastball, it cuts.
Well, why would you throw a cutter instead of a slider?
Some guys, good question, some guys, when you throw a slider, it's a power curveball. To me, a cutter is a fastball that cuts. It's a different mindset. And see the dot? There's a lot of hitters. Psycho, tell us everybody here. The dot, when a hitter sees a dot, they can identify that a little sooner. A cutter looks like a fastball. It has the same spin as a fastball, and they get that half commitment like Sosa did.
Served in the short right field. Cabrera coming on, not going to get it. And racing home is Lofton. A 2-out bloop single by Moises Alou makes it 7-0 Cubs.
There's a guy in right field that's never played out there before. I don't know if anyone could have caught that ball, but maybe you dive for this ball if you have the opportunity.
Well, again, we bring up Cabrera had never played right field in his life until last night. And Steve, you're a guy who played everywhere on the field. I would imagine it's got to be hard to get a read off the ball if you're playing a position for the first time. Left field's different than right field, right?
It is. And the ball spins differently. The ball's going to cut away from you differently in right field than it will on left field. You're playing left field, and a right-hander hits you a ball, the ball is going to spin away from you to your right. The exact opposite in right field. Here's the ball that gets looped into right field.
Let's just see what Cabrera's reaction is off the bat. No, he got a good jump. He's just pretty deep. He wouldn't have had that. I don't care who's out there.
Certainly speaks volumes. We touched on it earlier about the talent possessed by Miguel Cabrera. This guy was a minor league shortstop. He was playing third base in the minor leagues at Double-A all year. when the Marlins thought they might need to bring him to the major leagues, they said, get out and play a little left field. He played all of 2 games there before they brought him to the major league club. They played him in left field, and then Lowell got hurt. They moved him back into third. Splitter foul. Well, he's been at third ever since. And tonight, in right field, after getting less than a handful of innings there at the end of last night's game. Clement just staring out at that scoreboard and saying, oh, thank you for these 7 runs. Fastball up and in.
He wasn't staring at anything. He was sleeping. Now he's awake. He's so comfortable right now, he took a little snooze. Wake him up. He's got to pitch the rest of the game. That's relaxed right there. He's cruising.
Runner goes. And a check swing. They appeal. No, it's ball 4. 7 walks issued tonight so far by Marlins pitching, and we are only in the 4th inning. 5 of them by that man, Dontrelle Willis. And now 2 by Rick Kelly.
I think if there's anything that we've brought to the broadcast here in this series with Al around is the fact that it's okay to throw pitches that aren't in the strike zone. But you can't do that unless you've already got ahead. You got to be able to set guys up with the pitches that you want to try to get ahead in the strike in the count. Then you can throw pitches that aren't strikes and still get guys to swing at them, because hitters have to try to protect a lot bigger area of the plate when they're behind in the count.
Fly ball up about a Eric Carroll's. Caroline's got it. That'll end the inning. 1 more run for the Cubs. They lead 7-0. Marlins come to bat here in the bottom half of the 4th game now for Matt Clement. And their strike. Excellent effort out of the Florida Marlins bullpen. Fouled out of play. He went 2 2/3 innings. Allowed 2 hits and 1 run. Single to right and grounded out to third. Short left field. Lewis there, and that'll end the inning. But the Marlins get 2 of the runs back on 3 base hits. They leave a man. We played 5. 7-2 Chicago. Dontrelle Willis still hanging around, rooting on his teammates. A disappointing start tonight for the 21-year-old left-hander. Walked 5 batters. All but 1 of those walks wound up scoring. Now the 3rd pitcher used by Jack McKeon. Rookie right-hander Nate Bump, a former 1st-round pick of the San Francisco Giants. Top of the order for the Cubs. Kenny Lofton, Mark Rezolonic, then Sammy Sosa. Top 3 batters in the Cub lineup without a hit tonight. But don't let that fool you. 2 walks for Lofton, 2 walks for Sosa, 4 runs scored. Bunted. Back to Bump. We remind you, Major League Baseball is giving away World Series tickets for life and other great prizes. Winning hologram numbers will be announced during games 1 through 4 of the 2003 World Series here on Fox. Visit your neighborhood Radio Shack store for your chance to win. visiting any of the 4 cities of a team still left in the postseason would be mighty good trips if you were to win those World Series tickets for life. Come down here to South Florida, be like Steve Lyons, hang out on the beach.
Yeah, we've had a lot of time to do that.
Go to the Windy City.
Be like those guys right there. Cub fans have come down to sunny Florida. Of course, our games with the Cubs up in Chicago, the weather was 80 degrees and beautiful.
Yes, at Castillo, 2 away.
You can even hang out like baseball head. I just have to do it, Tommy. I can't help myself. They just got married, those two. That's like the honeymoon suite here at Pro Player.
Out of play. I thought the idea on the honeymoon was to make sure everything was cool for, your wife.
I know, she's hanging out, and he's in the pool.
What is that all about?
See, she's got the veil working there, and he's just chilling in the pool. And it's already started. He's probably ordering her around, telling her to go get hot dogs and stuff. She doesn't even get a chance to get in the pool.
1-2 to Sosa. Breaking ball again, and Sammy laying off that pitch. Swing and a miss, strike 3. A very impressive 1-2-3-6 for Nate Bump. So now that Marlin offense, Castillo, Rodriguez, Lee and company coming up, down 5. Bottom half of the 6th inning, a big inning for Clement, a big inning for the Marlins offense. They trailed 7-0 until the 5th when they scored a couple of runs off the Cub right-hander. And now they've got Castillo, Rodriguez, Lee, and they're hoping for more than that here in the bottom of the 6th. Castillo 0 for 2 is fly to right and grounded out to Gresolano.
The Marlins hitters have to be very selective at the plate, and Clement has to be very aggressive within the strike zone here.
High chopper cut off by Ramirez. 1 away. We asked you the question at home earlier. Who came out the better end of the deal with Clement and Al Fonseca in exchange for Dontrelle Willis? We asked Matt Clement the same thing yesterday.
I thought of that, a couple times since it's sunk in and we've played a couple games. It's just amazing the fact that both these teams are here at this time. It just credits the players, and it should be a lot of fun. And like I said, when I left Florida, I think they helped me by the move I made and the move that the other players made. I think were all positives for everybody.
And certainly that has been the case for both teams. Al Fonseca at times has been very good for the Cubs. Same thing for Clement, who won 14 games. And Dontrelle, a 14-game winner after being brought up from the minor leagues very early this season with the Marlins.
Well, it's nice to see that when it happens for both clubs and the players involved in deals where they all go on to have success with their new teams and possibly greater success than they've ever had in their career at that point.
Smoked into center field by Pudge Rodriguez. He is aboard with 1 out. And the result of our Sprint Virtual Manager question, who got the better end of the deal? And the Cub fans showing up in full force. There's a real surprise.
The Cub fans have been out there voting in full force every night, haven't they?
And it's like that question we had earlier this summer, Steve, a game we did in L.A. Who has the better bullpen, the Cubs or the Dodgers? The Dodgers almost broke an all-time Major League record for lowest ERA by a bullpen. The Cubs won 70-30. Breaking ball in there, strike one to Derek Lee.
Well, yeah. You look at, we were talking about the trades there, the one with Clement going to the Cubs along with Alfonseca, and Willis coming to Florida. Nice when everything works out for both players. Of course, the opposite is true occasionally too, like A.J. Burnett coming to the Florida Marlins, traded for Al Leiter, and guys like Leiter just playing out the string now.
Because he's a bum.
A.J. Burnett.
Big future for that guy. Big future for that guy right there.
Two now to Derek Lee. Off the end of the bat into short center field. Walton is there. 2 away in the inning.
You saw that guy sitting on the bench there, A.J. Burnett, with just the brightest future ahead of him. And of course, you know, the guy he got traded for just about over with, isn't it?
And I get to sit up here with you. I got to look at your career numbers now. You're sounding pretty good.
Please
And
don't.
I get to do charts. You're right.
I'm so much better now that I'm up here than when I was down there, because I just keep getting better and better the further I was away from the game. Just don't look at the numbers.
Miguel Cabrera with 2 down and 1 on.
Sit up here and it looks easy. You sit here and say, I could have hit that pitch.
What's you swinging at?
98 on the block. I'd have hit it.
Fly ball into left field. That one hit off the end of the bat. So Clement gets through the heart of the order in the 6th. 1 hit, no runs. 7-2 Cubs. We're back after a word from your local Fox station. Top half of the 7th inning we go. Game 4 of this National League Championship Series. The Cubs got a grand slam from Aramis Ramirez in the 1st inning. They scored twice in the 3rd, once more in the 4th to open a 7-0 lead. The Marlins scored a pair of runs in the bottom of the 5th. They bump, beginning his 2nd inning on the bump, and it's strike one to Moises Salud. The former Florida Marlin has been on base 3 times, 2 singles, has knocked in a run, has scored twice. Matt Clement has allowed 2 runs on just 5 base hits. In fact, the Cubs only have 5 base hits in this game.
It's the walks that have really hurt this Florida Marlins club today. You talked about earlier, 5 walks from Willis. 4 of them scored.
2 more from Helling, and 1 of those 2 walks scored. So 5 of the 7 have scored in the game.
The stance that Lou uses at the plate, wears cleats but doesn't even use them, standing on the inside parts of his shoes. Now look at that. So far, look at his cleats aren't even hitting the dirt. He's so far knock-kneed in there, just trying to get himself comfortable so that he doesn't overstride and overswing. Doesn't look good in the beginning, but he looks good when he swings the bat.
Ramirez with that grand slam in the opening inning, and he puts a charge into this one, and Ramirez has knocked in 6 runs in a game tonight. World Series, second home run of the game for Aramis Ramirez.
Same pitch he hit out from Dontrelle Willis. Fastball, inner half of the plate. No question about this one.
The 6 RBIs ties a league championship series record for most runs batted in a game.
Of course, in the first, he got that pitch from Dontrelle, and he said, "What you talking about, Willis?" Hit it into the seats.
Ramirez, an RBI single in the third, solo home run here in the seventh. The only other player in league championship series history to knock in 6 runs in a game. Cub fans remember it well. Will Clark for the Giants in that LCS in 1989 against the Cubs. That was a series where Will Clark and Mark Grace put on a hitting clinic. The Giants won that series to advance on, losing to Oakland in the Earthquake series of 1989. Strike 3 called Eric Karros.
I think Pittsburgh just called, and they want Ramirez back. I tell you what, Dusty Baker loves this guy. He says, how many guys out there right now, 25 years old, already have 2 seasons where they've driven in 100 runs? He says we will get his problems worked out defensively. We've already addressed them, and he's much, much better with us. Made 33 errors on the season. He said he just had a little bit lazy feet, not good footwork. My staff will get that figured out. He said he's played great defense for us. Hit as many home runs in the last 7 weeks of the season as Sammy Sosa did.
Every organization has a position that is a problem position. Third base has been that position for the Chicago Cubs
Ever since
Ron Santo left the Cubs. And of course, the Cubs very much playing for Ron Santo, who's back in Arizona watching the game tonight in preparation of surgery in the coming week. And the current Cub third baseman has made Ron Santo proud. 6 RBIs tonight for Ramirez. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Budweiser. Grab a cold, fresh Budweiser. It's game time. Back at Pro Player Stadium, where the Cubs, after 6.5, have an 8-2 lead. They lead this best-of-7 National League Championship Series 2-1. Off. He's walked and bounced out to first. He'll be followed by your former teammate Al Leiter. When the Marlins won the World Series in 1997, Jeff Conine. Second postseason start this year, his first in this National League Championship Series. And a low first pitch swing, a pop fly into right field. 1 pitch, 1 out. We asked Conine, his second go-round with the Marlins, about the future of this Florida franchise.
We got a 20-year-old third baseman that has been huge for us in the playoffs, and for him not to be affected by these situations is pretty impressive. We got a 21-year-old pitcher. We got a 22-year-old pitcher that, you know, have stepped up countless times in the last month when we needed him to and done the job. So it's been very refreshing to see that.
A very different Marlin team than the one you starred for, Al Leiter, that won the '97 World Series title. A team largely built, almost entirely built, on veteran players that were still hungry to win a ring.
say he was Mr. Marlin right from the start. Didn't play a whole lot in 97, but what he was just referring to there was different than the dynamics of the 97 team when it was a lot older and more veteran type team. I'm so happy for him. I refer and think of him as what Darren Daulton meant to us when we traded in 97 from Philadelphia. A leadership guy, a veteran guy, great in the clubhouse, good example, plays the game right, hard-nosed. All of those things exemplify Jeff Conine and what Darren Daulton meant to the 97 team.
Rounded down to third, picked out of the dirt by Karros. 2 away. We talked about David Dombrowski, the former general manager, the current general manager, Larry Beinfest, and the job they've done to build this team. A.J. Burnett came over for Al Leiter. Derek Lee from San Diego and the Kevin Brown deal. Braden Looper from the Cardinals for Renteria. Brad Penny from Arizona for Matt Manti. A trade Mike Lowell came over from the New York Yankees. And then you look at the guys they built up in their system. 3 of the 4 in the lineup here tonight. Josh Beckett will get the ball tomorrow. Steve, you talked about the future of A.J. Burnett. For those that have never seen him pitch, there are veteran pitchers around baseball that will tell you Burnett might have the best pure power stuff of any young pitcher in the game today. Not as polished as a Mark Pryor.
Got a no-hitter under his belt already. That'll show you some power. Just crazy enough almost to be a lefty, but he's not. Got some fire in his eyes, goes out there with some intimidation. Kind of amazing to think that, as you said, a lot of people think maybe he has the best stuff of anyone on the staff when we've seen some pretty good young pitchers on this staff.
1-2 on Gonzalez. Struck him out, and that'll end the inning. We go to the 8th. It has been an outstanding effort tonight by Matt Clement. Here in the top of the 8th inning. Game 4 of this National League Championship Series. It'll be Damian Miller, followed by Matt Clement, and then Kenny Lofton against a new Marlin pitcher who started Game 2 and was roughed up by the Chicago Cubs. 14-game winner during the regular season, Brad Penny. His second career relief appearance. His last came in the 2000 season.
I think this is a good move by Jack McKeon. This would be his day to throw on the side anyway. I assume he's still going to make his regularly scheduled start if we get that far.
While we have a moment, some breaking news from Boston. Let's go back to Los Angeles and Jeannie Zalasko.
Yes, Tom, more fallout in Fenway from the brawl. The second one in the bullpen. According to the Red Sox, their groundskeeper was rooting for his Sox with a double fist pump after a double play. It turned into a, quote, unprovoked attack by Jeff Nelson and Kareem Garcia. Paul Williams is at a Boston hospital with cleat wounds on his back and arms. The Red Sox called Major League Baseball for an investigation. Criminal charges could be in the future for the 2 Yankees.
I'm not so sure that that's good to hear that it wasn't a fan or that it was a member of the grounds crew. The member of the grounds crew that was in the bullpen, which I suppose is better than having some Yahoo jump into the bullpen and cause trouble. But either way, as you said very simply and as good as you can put it, Tom, ugly incidents happening in Boston.
That's ridiculous. I mean, just ridiculous. Go to a ball game, have a good time, enjoy yourselves, and don't act like a fool. Popped up and caught by Derek Lee. You know, Al, you've been in situations. I mean, you pitched in both leagues. You pitched in big games.
Pitched in both sides of New York.
I hope it's not a grounds crew. Here are these grounds crew guys that hang around. I know even in this stadium, they come through the dugout area. that's the last thing you want to hear for a guy sitting in there as heat as this game, for who's working for the Red Sox, to be dogging your team sitting right next to you. They're talking about prosecuting the Yankees. That's dangerous. There's been numerous times.
Pulled into right field, a base hit by Kenny Lofton. His first at 3 at-bats. It's the 3rd time he's been on.
Where players are provoked to basically call out some fans, in which hopefully they haven't, unlike in hockey where the fans actually come onto the field. That would be dangerous, because there would be 25 guys not too happy with that fan on the field. The whole thing is ridiculous. It's disgusting.
Be stationed in the bullpen anyway. I mean, what does he got to do out there?
Well, Steve, obviously you played in Boston. I mean, I've not spent enough time there. Does the grounds crew have any of their
there's no
equipment or anything like that out in that direction?
No, it's down the line. I don't know if there's any requirement where the grounds crew may be going out there at certain points in the game to re-manicure the bullpen mounds, which is a possibility. I don't really have a problem with the member of the grounds crew cheering for the Red Sox unless he was being blatant and overbearing, standing in the middle of a Yankee bullpen while he was doing it. It's probably not a real smart move.
Well, you know, it seems like it really does come down to just common sense on both sides. I mean, if you're hanging out in the Yankee bullpen, whether you work for the Boston Red Sox or work for anybody, your chances of pumping your fist in the air, if that is indeed the accurate story, in the face of the other team, is not a smart thing. At the same time, if you're a member of the New York Yankees and you're getting jeered and cheered all the time by fans, what sense does it make to take issue with some guy and allegedly go after the guy?
And there are a few bullpens in all of baseball that are dangerous, and that bullpen, especially Yankee-Boston rivalry, is very dangerous.
Penny knocks down the comebacker and throws out Breslovic, 2 away in the inning. Let's take a look at our game summary brought to you by Nissan. Clement has been up to the challenge here tonight after a losing effort in his first postseason start this year against Atlanta. Dontrelle Willis did not fare well. He walked 5 batters, 4 of the 5 scored in his 2 1/3 innings of work. Aramis Ramirez, a league championship series tying effort with 6 RBIs tonight.
Now they're going to walk Sammy Sosa now, and one of those other bullpens that you were talking about that's dangerous is in Wrigley Field, where the players sit right down the foul line, and Chad Kruder had an incident a couple of years ago where one of the fans tried to steal his hat, and he went in the stands after it.
Getting back to the Fenway bullpen, there's a little hut. I don't know if you can see down here. Well, this place isn't nearly as violent, especially in a series like the Red Sox and Yankees, but because of the little coverage, the fans are right behind you. And if you want to get out and stretch and be prepared for the inning, you see here with the bullpen, you got that little hut.
Little roof.
Little roof. It's a narrow roof, and they just get on you enough, and they're on all 3 sides. And the reason why it gets dangerous, because it takes a couple foolish fans to say enough to provoke somebody sitting there in the bullpen to maybe chirp back, and before you know it, you got an incident. And I guarantee that if that was a ground screw guy, he did more than pump his fist. I can guarantee it. Guys in that bullpen for the Yankees aren't that stupid to start fighting somebody because he pumped his fist. No way.
And if that guy from the grounds crew has cleat marks in his back, then the guys in the bullpen did a lot more than just say, get out of here.
Bases loaded for Moises Alou. Breaking ball down and away. Alou, a couple of hits, has scored a couple of runs, knocked in a run. Alou was the only Cub hitter in the lineup in Game 2 with Penny on the mound that did not have a base hit in the game. Fouled away, 1 ball and 1 strike.
8-2 game. McKeon obviously respected Sammy Sosa, intentionally walked him. Still thinking they have 6 more outs. It's only 6 runs. He's not going to let Sammy do some damage.
We were about to say before we got that news story about Brad Penny coming in, throwing on his day to throw anyway. He had a very difficult time locating his pitches in his start. This is a great way to get him back into another game, get him a better feel for his pitches and how he's throwing in a game situation, and then let him make his start later on if the series goes that far.
Tapper down a low, nice play. And the force out at second base will end the inning. Penny gives up a couple of hits. Cubs leave him loaded. Marlins starting to run out of outs. The League Championship Series on Fox is brought to you by Nissan and your Nissan dealer. By IBM, taking business to the next level with e-business on demand. By Visa, it's everywhere you want to be. And by America Online. Look for 9.0 Optimized coming this fall. Bottom of the 8th inning. And the Cubs with an 8-2 lead here in Game 4 of this NLCS. Lenny Harris will lead things off. He will bat for Brad Penny. Lenny started the season with the Chicago Cubs. They released him. The Marlins scooped him up. Major League Baseball's all-time pinch hit leader. And one of the real good guys in the game today. Real. No doubt about it. What a terrific guy he's always been since the day he was brought to the major leagues in 1987 with Cincinnati. Born and raised right here in Miami, Florida.
The only time you don't see Lenny Harris smiling is when he's at the plate.
He has just got a fabulous sense of humor, loves giving it, loves taking it. I mean, you want to give him all the heat in the world, he'll take it and he'll turn around and give it right back to you. There's a lesson to be learned there for all of us. I mean, you be a good guy, you're going to get maybe another chance. You're a good guy, you get another chance. I mean, he's earned the chances. But when you hit under 200 this season, some people may say, you know, maybe Lenny Harris can't do it anymore.
Hey, I got news for you. It's easy to hit 200 when you're sitting on the bench most of the time, and your only opportunity to play is pinch hitting against usually the other team's best pitcher.
Best lefty.
Yeah, that a lot of times. The other team's closer. Go get him, Lenny.
Kyle Farnsworth cranking it up in the Cubs bullpen. Clement, 7 solid innings so far tonight. But it's ball 4 to Lenny Harris to begin the bottom of the 8th inning. Alrighty, we told you about the big day tomorrow in the NFL here on Fox. Tampa Bay goes to Washington. The Eagles visit the surprising Dallas Cowboys. It'll be the Giants and the New England Patriots, the Bears and the Saints, the Panthers and the Colts, unbeaten's locking up in that one. It all begins at noon Eastern, 9 a.m. Pacific, only on Fox. All right, Steve Lyons, let's have it. Tampa Bay at Washington, who do you like?
Go with the Bucks. Defense will shut down the offense.
The Eagles against Bill Parcells and the Dallas Cowboys in Big D.
Not even a question. The Eagles will beat Bill Parcells, period.
Wow. Okay, so do you like the Eagles?
I got the Eagles. I got the Patriots. I got the Colts. Battle of the unbeatens right there. And the Bears and Saints, geez, flip a coin. Neither one of them are any good. Go with the Saints down in New Orleans. Go visit the French Quarter. Get there a day or two early. Have a good time. Put your money on the Saints.
Al, you want to weigh in on any of those games? Or
what's the point spread?
Yeah.
Don't know that one.
Only friendly wagering going on up here.
1-1 to Juan Pierre. Found out a play. Now, you grew up in New Jersey. Did you grow up a Giants fan or a Jets fan?
Giants.
Okay, so you like the Giants and maybe to win tomorrow.
Yes.
Okay. All right. So Psycho, he's going against you.
Yeah. What else is new?
Leadoff man aboard against Clement with Farnsworth continuing to throw, and now apparently he's ready down there if they need him. Kyle taking a momentary breather, and now he'll get back at it. The Marlins hit the ball very hard off Clement last night. Or off Farnsworth, I beg your pardon. He allowed a run in 1 inning of work. Grounded down to third. Ramirez gets the out. They won't double up Pierre. So the Marlins 5 outs away from falling behind 3-1 in this best-of-7 series. We look ahead to Game 5. That'll be here on Fox, 4 Eastern, 1 Pacific. Carlos and Zambrano against Josh Beckett, the Game 1 matchup. That was the only Marlin win in the series, and either starting pitcher threw the ball that well. Beckett had a terrible first inning, gave up 4 of those 6 runs in the first.
I see it much better than that score, and I think both of those starting pitchers are going to be completely different. I see it a very low-scoring game.
I think Beckett had a great opportunity to learn from his mistakes in that game. Have a chance to throw much better second time around. Certainly settled down.
And unless this one changes dramatically, of course, Carlos Zambrano will get the ball tomorrow afternoon with a chance to send the Cubs to their first World Series since 1945. Oh. You don't think Chicago will be jumping tomorrow, do you? Slap foul. But again, this one not in the books yet. I mean, it looks good. It's a 6-run lead. You're in the bottom of the 8th inning. But it's not over. The Marlins have only been in the postseason twice. And should they lose this game, tomorrow would be just the 2nd time they have faced an elimination game in any postseason series. And of course, the other time was that 1997 World Series Game 7. Result, world champions.
Kind of nice when you look at your history and you've only been in the postseason twice, and the time you were there before, you won it all.
Yep. This is only the Cubs' 3rd trip to the postseason since they were in that 1945 World Series. LCS lost to San Diego in 1984. 89, the Giants. I beg your pardon, this is their 4th. They were there in 98 when they were swept by Atlanta in the division series.
Look at the teams that are in the playoffs. You can certainly understand the history and the general interest in the teams like the Chicago Cubs and the Red Sox. Long-suffering fans. Neither team won a championship forever. And then you have teams like the Florida Marlins, a relatively new franchise. They have a world championship under the belt. The Arizona Diamondbacks, fastest ever to win a world championship. So Cubs and Red Sox fans have been sitting around saying, why not us, for a long, long time.
Castillo retired on a comebacker too. Clement, how long has it been? Well, there you have it. 1908, the last time the Cubs won the World Series. Their crosstown rivals, the White Sox, haven't won it since 1917. Babe Ruth won 2 games as a pitcher for the Boston Red Sox in 1918. You know the rest of the story.
No, not Nets.
Matt Clement comes back to where he once pitched and turns in an excellent effort tonight. Partnered with the Saturn Light Ship to bring you aerial coverage of tonight's game. We hope you're enjoying this unique look from high above Pro Players Stadium from the Saturn Light Ship. Thousands of Cub fans here in South Florida for this series applauding the effort of Matt Clement.
I think they were playing a home game.
Clement was in the 5th when the Marlins scored their only 2 runs of the game. Now Farnsworth. Fastball at 98, swung on and missed.
Yeah, he's just getting loose. 98. Those postseason numbers for Kyle Farnsworth.
Dusty told us before the game today he just didn't like the swings the Marlins were getting against Farnsworth last night in that tightly played game. He struck out Derek Lee to end the 7th inning, began the next inning, allowed a single to Cabrera. A bunt moved him over. Conine hit a rocket into center field, and Dusty said, "I'm going to get it." He brought in Borowski, who allowed a single to Todd Hollingsworth in that 8th inning to knock in a run. Fair ball into the corner. This will knock in a run. Pierre scores on a double by Pudge Rodriguez. His 13th RBI of the postseason, 7th in this LCS.
I hate to sound like a broken record, but geez, he just keeps hurting you on the ball's outer half. I believe this is going to be a breaking ball, but he's not going to get it far enough away. Look at it. Hangs right out over the middle of the plate. Not really the middle of the plate, but right where Pudge likes it. Middle away. He just hits a bullet into right field once again. Gosh, he can hit the ball the other way.
Charged to Clement, so close the books on him. 7 2/3, 5 hits, 3 runs. Ball 1 low and away to Derek Lee, 0 for 2. 3 of 17 in the series.
This is a guy that the Florida Marlins really need to get on track. This is a guy that, 32 homers, 92 RBIs, 31 homers and 92 RBIs on the season. It's a lot of production out of a guy that has done no damage in this playoff series.
Well, you're down 8-3. Farnsworth has fallen behind a couple of hitters in a row here. 2-0 now. He's gone to Lee. I know he can hit the ball out of the ballpark, but you're down 5. Take a strike here?
Yep. Unless he really zones him in inner half or middle.
To the second baseman, that'll end the inning. Hit it hard, right at Gresolano. 1 run in the inning. We had 4 tonight. Cubs lead by 5. Marlins come to bat needing 5 to tie, 6 to win. Bottom half of a 9th inning. Kyle Farnsworth still on the mound for Chicago, and Dontrelle Willis still rooting his team on.
Those guys just chilling. Fryer and Wood done their job in the first go-round for them. Clement, stellar outing. Rick Helling.
Cabrera, Lowell, and Conine against Farnsworth. Ball 1 low and away. Game 1 went 11 innings with the Marlins coming up with a 9-8 win at Wrigley Field. The Cubs in Game 2 jumped all over Brad Penny en route to a 12-3 win. The scene shifted here to South Florida, and again we went 11 innings. With the Cubs this time coming away with a 1-run win. And I'm sure watching that bottom half of the 11th inning last night had a lot of the Cub fans saying, "There's a curse of the Billy Goat back." Throw to first, out at first. Nice play by Gresolano. Who could forget that 11th inning? It looked like the curse might continue. Luis Castillo reached on strike 3. It turned into a wild pitch. Castillo got to second on a bobble by Mike Remlinger. But maybe the curse reversed when Ramirez bobbled the grounder. But they got Castillo in a rundown, tagged him out for the 3rd and final out of the game.
of people really looked down on Castillo on that play too, like he was made a bad play there. Talking to a lot of the guys on the field today, and my own feeling was we would have all got caught in the exact same position. You're expecting Ramirez to field that ball and throw on to first, and if you're the runner on second base, you're trying to inch your way towards third in hopes that if he throws the ball away, you can score. It's your only hope to get back in that game. Not expecting for Ramirez just to clank that ball and have it drop right at his feet, and now you're stuck.
Late local news, except for those of you out west, is coming up next. Swung on and fouled away. Cubs 2 outs away from taking a 3-1 lead. Of course, the league championship series went to a 7-game format, a best-of-7-game format in 1985.
The guys with a Kerry Wood jersey caught it behind home plate after it bounced off of Miller's face mask, came all the way into the stands.
Low gone swinging. Coordinating producer at Major League Baseball on Fox is Michael Weissman. Tonight's game produced by Jeff Gallen, directed by Jim Lynch. Our associate producer is Carol Langley McDermott. The associate director, Larry Lancaster. Our broadcast associate, Kevin Dresser. Thanks also to our technical producer from Chicago, Craig Marlowe. The pregame show produced by Gary Lang, directed by Bob Levy. The coordinating producer, Scott Ackerson. Our studio technical supervisor, Mr. Jack Simmons. The senior producer of Fox Sports is Bill Brown. The executive producers of Fox Sports are Ed Gorin and David Hill. The Chicago Cubs have taken a 3-1 lead in this National League Championship Series. They are one more win away in this series from advancing to the World Series, where they have not been since 1945. And a big-time effort by Matt Clement here tonight.
He was definitely on. The ball was moving on both sides. He had sinking fastball going in, the slider away. His ball was never straight. He really didn't throw any pitches that were straight. Effectively wild in the zone.
This game was about relaxation. Clement was able to relax and regroup and pitch the way he had earlier in the season. And Dontrelle Willis was unable to do that, to harness his emotions and keep the ball in the strike zone.
Tomorrow's matchup will be Carlos Zambrano for the Chicago Cubs in a rematch of Game 1 up against Josh Beckett of the Florida Marlins. Well, they called it destiny in San Francisco back in 1997. When he led the San Francisco Giants into the playoffs, losing to the Marlins in 3 games in the division series. They're believing in that destiny now in Chicago. Let's go downstairs and join Josh Lewin.
All right, with Aramis, Ramirez, 6 runs batted in on 2 home runs. And Aramis, you saw 19 pitches in those first 2 at-bats. The grand slam, tell me about that at-bat if you would.
Well, it was a bases loaded with one strikeout in the situation. I just want to put the ball in play and at least get one run in, and then it happened that he left a pitch right down the middle of the plate and make a pretty good swing on it.
Huge way for you guys to start the game, obviously. For you coming from the Pirates, I know it was tough for you to leave that organization. How cool is it to be a part of this now, though?
Well, I spent a lot of time with the Pirates. I appreciate everything they did for me, but right now it's time to move on, and hopefully I stay here for a long time. This is exciting. It's my first time in the playoff, and like I say, hopefully I stay here for a long time.
Aramis, congratulations.
Thank you.
97 third baseman since Ron Santo departed. Maybe this one's a keeper, guys. We go back upstairs.
We thank Josh Lewin. The D train couldn't get on track tonight. And the Marlins now on the brink of elimination. The Cubs on the brink of history. For more information on tonight's game and for the latest information on Major League Baseball, go to foxsports.com. For Steve Lyons, Al Leiter, Josh Lewin, and our entire crew, I'm Thom Brennaman, saying so long from Miami. Jeannie Salasco and Kevin Kennedy will be along shortly from Los Angeles with the latest news on that Yankees-Red Sox fracas at Fenway Park. Tomorrow, Game 5. We look forward to seeing you then.